Alright, welcome back to my channel, guys. Today we're talking about a product that I've wanted for quite a while, but haven't been able to get my hands on. This baby. No, it's not this. It's not this. Though, this is my old PS4. This has been my PlayStation for about 3 years. So this was my very first game console. This baby has given me hours of gaming joy and fun. I am not even kidding you on that one. That's why I kind of draw all of it over. Bleh. It has been showing its age though. For the past year and a half, a bunch of stuff has been going on with it. I'm assuming it's dust-related problems, and if I probably take it apart, which I don't really want to do because that requires time for an upgrade. And I kind of wanted the PS5, but it was sold out everywhere, and it was too expensive. So I was saving up, biding my time, waiting around, until suddenly, my wife lets me know, while I was working, that hey, there's a package here for you. My wife, just before Christmas, graciously, without me knowing and apparently saving up money for herself to buy me this, bought me the PlayStation 5. I don't know where she got it from. I don't fully understand, but I have a PS5 now, and it's actually been the most fun product I have played with in a very long time. I'm gonna give you my top 3 reasons why this is probably one of the best gaming experiences I've had. Number 1 reason why this is really fantastic for those who are coming off of the PlayStation 4 console. When you first boot this up for the very first time and you do your whole install and not install but account setup and your username and your country settings and all those little nice settings things. This also gives you a setting to back up everything off of your PS4, games and save files. The integration between games and viewing your trophy list is super easy. I just love that. Being able to play your game, hit the PlayStation button on the controller, pops up the little hub at the very bottom, move over, see your trophies that you need to get, pop back into the game. Doing it on this, the one biggest downside to this is that there's no web browser. Second reason why this is such a fantastic, we're talking about software right now, we'll get into hardware in a little bit. Second thing that this really has, this has performance mode in all PS5 titles. PS5 titles has the option for performance, balanced, or performance with RTX, baby. It fixes the lighting issues and performance issues that I've had in PS4. Ray tracing is phenomenal. Not only does it run super smooth with 0 lags, it just works the minute you turn it on. You load up your last checkpoint, it just works. It fixes all the lighting issues, car issues, player animations sometimes. Downside to this baby, there's no web browser. It still has your normal media player settings where you can have Netflix, Hulu, Twitter, I think Facebook is there now, even Peacock is there. Why would I ever need that? But it's there. If you want it, it's all there. But there's just something unique about having a web browser. It's not too big of a deal, but I wish there was one. Staying with the console, we'll get into the controllers in a second, but staying with the consoles, on the PlayStation 4, we have disk drive, USB, 2 USBs on the front, disk drive, and the disk drive button. Disk drive and power relay buttons at the bottom right here. On the back, woo! Don't drop that. We have a aux setting for the PlayStation VR. We have HDMI out and a Ethernet connector. That's it. And then we have the plug up here. On the PlayStation 5, which is super, I love this because it allows me to not only play on this and have both the cables that I used on this, but this uses the exact same connector to plug in. They didn't use a proprietary thing. They didn't add Type-C, which would have been really cool if they did. They kept it exactly the same. And for somebody who moves their PS5 around now, super handy. And then we have 2 USBs on the back, which is super good. And then Ethernet. And then a safety lock up here. On the front, we have Lightning Type A and then Lightning Type C. We're moving on to the controllers. We have a controller here that I really want to talk about because it blows these 2 controllers and all the performance issues that I've had with these out the water. And this is my PlayStation 4 controller. This is the original controller that came with the PlayStation. I've never had Joy-Con drift with this. The D-pad buttons work phenomenally. The options and the share buttons, I never use. The option button's obviously for in-game settings, but the share button, I never use it on the PS4. And then on the front is a micro B connector, which it's outdated and old, and it needed an upgrade. This controller had about now like 4 to 5 hours of gameplay, continuous gameplay. Next up, we have the PlayStation 5 controller. And the PlayStation 5 controller is pretty unique in its design. It has, the light bar has now been integrated into the sides. The center button is still here. Touchpad button is still here and it works. The buttons nicely placed apart. D-pad is still here. They actually gave us proper D-pad buttons. I've been hearing online that there is a couple of controllers that have Joy-Con drift. Hopefully not, because I do not want to buy a new one of these controllers. These controllers are really expensive. Oh, and it has Type-C connecting. 2 things that I don't like about this. There's a microphone button on here, and by default, it's on. Second thing I don't like about this is the trigger buttons, the L2 and R2 buttons right here. I don't know who implemented this and I don't really understand why, but for whatever reason this button has like a pressure sensor in here. I don't know if it's like a haptic feedback sensor or like a pressure sensor. It doesn't feel like I'm pressing all the way because the feedback, it gets stiffer as you push down. And I've also read this online. This also affects battery life, and I don't know how to turn it off. For this controller, it's about 6 to 7 hours of battery life, which is pretty good. Next up, this controller. Probably my most favorite controller of all time. Everything is super easy to disassemble. You wipe it all down, and it just put it all together, and it just works. The keypads feel really nice. I love the ergonomics of this because this up here just feels a lot better to me than actually having this. This is probably my favorite controller. It also has Type-C plug-in, and the best benefit to this is this controller lasts about 3 days of just continuous gaming use because on the inside is a Nintendo DS battery. I think that's pretty much everything. My PlayStation 4 has gotten old. My PlayStation 5 is now here and new. I love everything about this. Hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button so you know when I go live again. Next week we're going to actually review a game off of this system.